There was really nothing else like it.
We saw that
This
one
obscure
before.
27,000 square foot structure allowed visitors to enter into what must have felt like another
I
dimension.
mean,
It
it
was
is
an
what it
exhibit
is.
called Dreamspace, and was the creation of British artist Maurice Agus, a 74-year-old artistic visionary obsessed with the idea of creating large-scale surreal environments. And this was his magnum
Bomba clap.
opus. The structure was inflatable, akin to a massive bounce house, and once inside, guests were confronted with a labyrinth of brightly colored walls and cells, twisting and turning into some sort of surreal maze that patrons were told to lose themselves in. This piece of art premiered back in 2004, and due to its inflatability, it was actually built to travel, making stops in major cities in the UK, before it was eventually set up at Riverside Park in Durham on the 22nd of June, 2006. The very next day, 68-year-old Elizabeth Collins would visit the area with her husband and her daughter, as well as her 14-year-old grandson. And spotting this unusual structure in the distance, Elizabeth's grandson insisted on checking it out, excitedly taking off his shoes and running inside. And while the rest of the group was more apprehensive about entering, Elizabeth eventually decided to accompany him, leaving her husband and daughter on the outside, though not before turning back to them and joking that she was going in to find peace and serenity. Outside, Elizabeth's husband and daughter sat at a nearby table and enjoyed a cup of tea whilst conversing about the events of the week, only for the man to turn his head and notice that Dreamspace was slightly moving, to which he excitedly said, "Oh, it's a ride, it's a ride. I wish I had gone on it." The daughter then turned her head to see the structure as it began to rise up off the ground, to which she chillingly responded, "It's not a ride."
The amount of people in that? Is this playing at like 0.5? Oh, no bueno. Dude, it did like a whole 360. Dude, people are getting hit at like the bottom. Look, someone's trying to grab onto it.
In that moment, Dreamspace had snapped from its moorings and was blown into the air by a massive gust of wind. Agus just so happened to be standing at the entrance as it began to shift,
That guy
and
looks like
noticing
a
what was
cult
happening,
leader.
he grabbed on as he desperately tried to hold down his entire life's work, though clearly this was of no use. And after being lifted in the air, his grip failed, sending him falling back to the ground below, where he lay staring up
Was
at
that
his
him?
creation that was now flying 30 feet above him.
That's wild, dude. How much
Inside, there were as many as 30 people who were now being thrashed around this
That's not too
giant
shabby.
inflatable structure, in a scene that I truly can't even imagine. The claustrophobia of it, the dizzying colors, the screams, it's genuinely one of the most horrific scenarios I've ever heard. The inflatable structure was airborne for well over a minute, folding into itself before finally crashing
Everyone
back
survived,
down into a
though,
parking
no?
lot, leaving behind what was described by witnesses as a field of bodies. Worst of all, the majority of those in attendance were families with small children, with one 7-year-old girl recounting her experience, saying, "It was very scary and people were screaming. I saw a lady clinging on and then falling out, and then she was lying on her back with people around her. I think she died." This lady was most likely 68-year-old Elizabeth Collins, who had been ejected from the structure when it was in the air, with her injuries being catastrophic and unsurvivable. Of all the others now sprawled throughout this field of grass, most were left injured but thankfully not in serious condition, though this wasn't the case for 38-year-old Claire Vermege, who had been inside during the accident with her 2 children, and despite her kids surviving, she was sadly not so lucky, with Claire and Elizabeth being the sole fatalities of the incident. The video is terrifying, and though it's easy to say that this could have been so much worse, considering how many people were in Dreamspace at the time, the consequences were still catastrophic, as it devastated 2 families, and likely left many others at the scene traumatized for life, especially the young children. But how could this have happened? Well, that day was particularly warm, which likely caused the air inside the structure to expand, causing a hot air balloon-like effect, which was then exacerbated by sudden strong gusts of wind, which eventually caused the structure to go airborne, as in the end it just wasn't properly secured for the conditions. Soon after the incident, Maurice Agus was arrested for manslaughter, though he would ultimately only end up paying a small fine.
It not
as he
being
vowed to never
secure
create
onto the ground makes sense. Oh, fuck. Bing, bing, bing. Oh, my bad. Fuck. We are, I think, back.
To you.
The
Happy
HDMI
birthday
thing.
to you. Happy birthday, Serena.
Oh my god.
On October 2nd, 2006, police entered the home of 31-year-old Elaine Campione, where inside they found the woman speaking incoherently. Next to her was a VHS camera, depicting a series of disturbing events that had transpired within the home over the previous months and days, with the footage eventually finding its way onto YouTube.
Hi, Serena. It's August 8th, 2006. Happy birthday to you.
Oh.
Happy birthday to you.
The tape starts with Elaine pointing her new camera at her daughter Serena. It was her 3rd birthday, and to celebrate, Elaine had left a brand new bike in the living room.
What is it?
It's a bike!
Days later, the footage continues, showing Serena once again as Elaine asks,
How does Mama love you?
This much.
Oh, I love you more than that. How much does Mama love you?
Elaine then shows her other daughter Sophia, who was just a baby, before turning the camera on herself and showing the kids how the device worked.
Hi! See how the camcorder works? Look.
It's a farmer.
Look. Hi! Is that Mommy? Hi!
So far, the footage seems like nothing more than your standard family home videotape, and appears completely wholesome. Though with the next recording, the tone begins to shift, and things start to become slightly concerning.
This is a deplorable, horrible, messy, filthy apartment that supposedly my two
He's
children
super
and I
sad.
live in, and it's just a horrible, horrible mess. Yeah. I think Diego Campione is totally in the wrong, and I hope he burns in hell for all his sins, the same as Leonardo.
As Elaine shows the camera her home, she begins joking about how
Diego
they are
and
living in
Leonardo?
deplorable conditions,
2 people?
before randomly calling out 2 men who she says she hopes burn in hell, all while her children are in the same room. She starts to grow more and more agitated.
All I wanted to do was take care of my 2 little girls and live happily ever after the 3 years of physical, emotional, and mental abuse that I endured tremendously by Leonardo Campione, and in the past year from Anna and Diego Campione, the mental and emotional abuse.
Outright saying that she was abused by a man named Leonard Campione, who happened to be her ex-husband and the father of these children. And she goes on from there, with each moment clearly making the kids more and more anxious.
I want justice to my family for what they have all done to us. I cried out for help. They should have charged him for the assaults he did to me.
Eventually causing Elaine to snap out of it and stop the camera.
And my poor 3-year-old, I did everything to protect. And what are you saying, Sophia? What do you want?
The video then skips forward once more, with this footage being taken just days before the police were called, showing Serena coloring on the floor as Elaine asks,
Who loves ya?
Mommy.
Who loves you the most? That much? Oh, I think I love you more than that.
The scene that unfolds next was recorded on that very same night, just hours later.
I don't like.
Recording this because Leo there. Are you happy? Everything is gone. Gone. You wouldn't give peace. You wouldn't tell the truth. You didn't care about our babies. You didn't care about me. You cared about yourself. All you did was hurt us.
In the video, Elaine states that everything is gone, as she speaks to Leo directly, accusing him of having ruined their lives with his constant abuse.
You are truly the devil. And I hate you. 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 And I want you to know how much I hate you.
Disturbingly, the children were nowhere to be seen in this footage, with Elaine eventually addressing them by saying,
God believes me. And God's taking care of them now. You're protected by God. Thank God. And thank Him. Because there's no way I could have them with you. Nothing's good enough for you. It has to always be your way. Well, they're good. And you can have it your way. Your wife and your daughters are dead now. We're all in heaven.
According to Elaine, not only were her children gone, but she was too. She stops the recording soon after.
I thought she wasn't.
Despite saying this, the camera would actually start up one more time, where Elaine describes how she was still alive, despite having attempted to OD, which prompted her to call the police. When officers arrived at the home, both Serena and Sophia were found laying in her mother's bed, holding hands, and wrapped tightly in rosaries. Neither of them were alive. 2 nights prior, and directly before filming this message, Elaine had brought them both into the bathroom, as it was time for their nightly baths, and once in the tub she told them to play a game, one where they would place their heads beneath the water and blow out bubbles. When they did this, Elaine held their heads down, and she didn't let go until she was certain they were gone. This footage is some of the most disturbing that I've ever seen, as we get a glimpse into Elaine's descent into madness in the moments directly before she stole her children's lives. But all of this leaves one obvious question. Why? Well, it was noted during her investigation that the abuse she alleged from her ex-husband Leo seemed to be very real and well documented over the years, leading to Leo not being able to see his children for over a year, with this causing the two to separate, which is when Elaine's mind began to deteriorate. She began believing that people were following her and were going to kill her, with this fear of people eventually shifting to a fear of aliens, as she claimed to have seen them on numerous occasions, believing they were following her. Because of this fear, she refused to let her children out of her sight, not even allowing her own parents to look after them, causing her to become so attached to these children that she genuinely began to believe that they were all one entity, which made things incredibly concerning when she became suicidal and eventually attempted to take her own life.
Where is this set? Is this guy just making this up?
He had supposedly turned his life around in the years leading to this footage, and was eventually allowed to start visiting the children on a limited capacity. And seeing the children and seeing the way their mother was behaving, he began to grow incredibly concerned, and eventually attempted to gain full custody. And it was this bitter custody battle that seemed to be the ultimate factor that led to Elaine ending the lives of her children.
God's taking care of us now. He's protected by God, thank God. I thank Him. Because there's no way I could have them with you.
Elaine Campione would be charged with 2 counts of murder and would eventually be sentenced to life in prison, with a possibility of parole after 25 years. Today, she's held in a minimum security prison, where she's free to leave once every weekend to attend church and other functions.
What the fuck? There's a lot more information on this case. I have a lot to cover. I have a deep by video below waiting for more context. Ooh. Yeah, because what the fuck is that alien thing? You can't just like glaze over the... She believed
On
that...
April 18th, 2010, a 39-year-old man named Gavin Collins was released from the HMP Ranby prison in the UK. His freedom would last less than 24 hours, as the very next day he suffered a severe mental breakdown, the result of which was captured partially across several video recordings that later appeared on YouTube. This is the story of his rampage. It began at approximately 9 a.m.
Isn't this the guy? I think I've seen this one. The guy, the driving? He's driving?
What turned is it taking off, one being a standard dash cam and the other facing inside the vehicle, giving us a look at Gavin and his apparent mental state.
This is me. Jesus Christ! I'll shut you out with the eyesight I've got. Hey, I don't need this.
Also, I do want to see that other ladies. This one's wild though. I think we have seen that one though. Music use. There was music. Found footage. No, but what are the other ones?
The minute that she gets out of the psychiatric ward, she resumed custody of her kids.
How are we 20 minutes into this? I've never seen this before. Did you just auto-click us to this point?
One of the most shocking crimes is that of filicide, the killing. Paranoid about her mother's intentions, and she believes at this point that her own mum is conspiring with children. Scary.
What? This whole thing's like an hour 14. Ridiculous that she had custody over the children. There were so many other good options all around. Yeah, but then it's like, why? What was her dissent? I want to see like hard proof of her being like aliens and shit.
Again, this kind of behaviour is certainly in keeping with what we see with individuals who are struggling with mental instability. the fact that she's kind of bargaining with the world and making decisions, that she parks in certain ways or stops her child from touching certain colours, they'll be safe.
Where is this information coming from? She tells her kids not to touch certain colors. Not like I don't believe it, but then I'm like, no, I mean, that doesn't make any sense to me.
Causing bodily harm and 1 count of uttering threats. That's related to alleged incidents that occurred between 2004 and 2005. They also accused him of being
Yeah, but where are these accusations coming from about her doing the aliens and the fucking... Because, I mean, I feel like people are saying it, but there hasn't been one thing. Maybe speculation from, like...
And one of the extracts within it states this: Daddy hit me. Daddy drank a lot, but he was in a lot of harm. Sophia appeared to express his belief that her husband's family has ties to the mafia.
Where is this all said, bro? You're slandering this lady's name. I know what she did was bad and other things, but then it's like...
And she's told people that she's really scared of
The
him.
guy kind of looks like he is from the mafia, though. Look
She
at him.
imagines
He's in the news and shit. A little mafia guy.
of her daughters, which...
Yeah, but where is the info about... I wanted... If there was one
about-
clip of her being like, and the aliens, I'd be like, cut the dogs out. Whoa, dude. No feet.
do something so outlandish in their behaviour can suddenly seem to
No,
improve
dude.
prior to that action. Maybe it's because
all the songs that they love. It's the same songs they sing over and over and over. It's like these.
So, maybe, I mean, I want to hear it from, the horse's mouth, I guess.
Now, with all this pressure balling up, and you were making a videotape for your mother, any point did you do anything in the bathroom?
I remember we sing songs. We usually sing ABCs. We usually sing the 5 Little Duckies.
Okay.
Joy, joy to the world. I sing over.
Children are now.
I assume my husband has.
Hope you understand you've been charged with murder. You understand that both the children, Sophia and Serena, are both deceased.
she denies that she pushed her children under the water at any point, and she says, I would never keep her, but let them not denote that she's...
What? I want to see this full
Guy
interview.
with a blue outfit with orange on it in my bedroom as a police officer telling me something about charges. I'm asking where my daughters are, and they're just looking at me telling me they need to put handcuffs on me, I need to get on a stretcher, and I'm still asking them where my daughters are, and that's all.
Do you remember making the call? There was a phone call you made this morning.
No.
I'm typing Lego
The
Castaways.
next thing I know is there's people at my door.
Okay.
We're uploading episode
I'm
3.
just gonna back up. So what happened last night?
We put it on the screen.
Sophia was having a bath.
No.
I was videotaping her for my mother singing
Oh my
Twinkle
God.
Twinkle Little Star because that's her favorite song. She sings it every night for my mom.
Right.
And I was doing that, and she would start to do backflips, and she got a little bit of water in her ear, so I stopped the videotape because she panicked, and then I picked her up, and then that was it. Then I went over
She recorded the kids.
to see Serena because she was coloring, asking her to clean up her coloring. She's got to get ready for bed, pick up her pajamas, and that's all. And the next thing I remember is these people are in my house.
Okay. You talked about they were in the baths.
Sophia was in the
Sophia was in the
bath
bath.
by
What about
herself.
Serena? Did you ever put Serena in the bathtub?
Serena's always in the bathtub with Serena, but she wasn't in the bathtub with Sophia. She was busy coloring and cleaning up her mess and picking out pajamas.
And then why were you videotaping?
To send to my mother,
Okay.
her singing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.
Okay. And had you done any of this videotaping prior to last night?
There's just videotapes, little bits here and there. There should be birthday tapes. There should be other tapes of the two of them in the tub together. There should be.
When is this?
there's
2006?
kinds of little exhibits of tapes on the video camera.
Okay. At what point did you put the videotape away?
After I went to go give Serena her bath, and she was saying she was gonna get ready for bath, I put the video camera in the living room.
Okay. All right. Now with all this pressure balling up, and you were making a videotape for your mother, any point did you do anything in the bathroom?
I remember we sing songs. We usually sing ABCs. We usually sing the 5 Little Duckies. It's like
This was sad.
the usual routine that we always take.
Okay.
That's all I remember. So I sing the same songs. We sing, Joy, Joy to the World, all the songs that they love.
Why do you think she actually? I mean, where are the aliens
The
though?
same
I mean, not
songs
like.
they sing over and over and over.
You know what I'm saying?
And where do you think your children are now?
I assume my husband has them.
Hope you understand you've been charged with murder. You understand that both the children, Sophia and Serena, are both deceased.
She denies that she put
What?
detail about what she and her daughters were doing on the actual night. And when she's asked questions that she can't.
Is there no full interview? No, there's a little bit more.
But at other times,
She cuts out the audio. That's wild, dude. What the heck? Do you think there's a link to the thing? Maybe, maybe not. Wow, spooky. Spooky ghosts, honestly.
when she's asked
Let me go over here real quick. Bing bong.